It's here. It's actually here. The series finale. The series finale of Supernatural. Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, as per usual, as I always am. And yeah, we're here. We're actually here. I don't want to say finally, because I haven't been waiting for this. I have not been. I mean, I've been waiting anxiously, but I haven't been waiting because I can't wait to see this, but it's finally here. The series finale of Supernatural, season 15, episode 20. The end of a 15-year-long road ride. And this may well have just been the most stressful week, one of the most stressful weeks I've ever faced. You know, the last couple of days my stomach's been in knots, and I haven't been able to sleep properly, and I suspect that will all only amplify after I watch this, and then, I'm forced to actually digest the fact that Supernatural has come to an end. But no, this I don't know. This I honestly don't think even watching the series finale will actually push into my heart and into my mind that, oh yeah, Supernatural's over now. It's one of those shows. It's ended now. It's had its run and everything. But yeah, I don't know. This is not an easy thing for me, or for many people within the fandom. It's not an easy thing for anyone in the fandom to be going through right now. And to see the love for the fandom too, the last couple of days on social media, all over social media, people have been sharing their stories and sharing thoughts and stuff, and it's been really, really cool to see and really sweet to read through. So that is a plus. That is a plus. No one's really happy it's ending, but everyone is reveling and sharing in that mutual kind of grief and pain. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say, how to feel. But yeah, the finale's here, so I guess the only thing we can really do is watch it. That's the only thing we can really do. But yeah, last time, episode 19, Inherit the Earth, we had the final battle. That was the final fight. So last episode was the season finale. That was the end of that season 15 story, but this is the official end to the story of Supernatural, the story of Sam and Dean. This is where they go from here, because last episode we had Jack, Sam, and Dean were the only ones on Earth. Chuck wiped everyone else out, and that was his new kind of chapter. That was his final chapter in the story, just having them rot away on an empty world. Not too empty, because we still had Michael. Adam was gone. Adam was disintegrated, but Michael was still around because he was still there in the vessel and everything, so he kept it alive. But yeah, Jack turned into a power vacuum. The bomb went off inside him in the empty, but it still turned him into a power vacuum. So that's what he was doing with all the plants and stuff. He was sucking up all the power. So then all they had to do was actually get him to suck up the rest of the power from Michael and Lucifer. Lucifer returned. Chuck brought back Lucifer to try and get the Death Book back, and then Lucifer killed a Reaper and turned her into the new Death so she could open it up and read it. So then they made up a whole thing about a spell and summoned God, and then had him unleash a bunch of power so Jack could absorb that. So Jack was just absorbing power throughout the entire episode until he was OP enough to actually take on God, and then he just sucked up the rest of his power and turned Chuck into a mere human being, a mere mortal. So yeah, Jack is the new god. That was a very, very common fan theory throughout the final season airing, and even before the final season aired. That was a common theory that Jack would become the new god, and he would, because when he was born, that was his destiny. When he was born, that was his destiny that Castiel saw when he touched Kelly's belly and everything. He saw that Jack would become a new god. Well, he saw that Jack would create a paradise. He saw that Jack would create like a paradise world where there was no pain, no fear, just everyone living lives freely and happy, free from any kind of negativity and stuff. So Jack kind of did do that. Jack kind of did. He brought everyone back. He didn't specifically create like a new world, at least not one we've seen as of yet. But he did resurrect everyone. He brought all all the bystanders back, all the background people, the rest of the population. So whether or not he brought the other characters back, like Bobby and Charlie and Jodie and everyone else, is up to see. I'm hoping he did. I don't know if you can end Supernatural without bringing them back. So hopefully he did bring them back, and I think that's what this will be, because I think it was season, what was it, 14, with the Michael stuff, like in the Malik box. Like Dean had that very, very brief farewell tour thing with a few characters before he decided to build the Malik box. I'm hoping this is what that episode will be, but just much, much more thorough, much, much more emotional, and everything. So then once all the others are brought back, then this will be their final thing, because again, like, Jack creating a paradise world would also mean that no monsters, because Sam and Dean finally freed themselves from Chuck's curse of making them hunt things over and over and over and living a cycle of pain. So I think that's what this episode will finally be about, like, that's just what they do now. Like, they're them going around telling all the other people that, okay, you guys don't have to hunt either, because there are no more monsters, and we don't have to hunt either, so we can finally live normal lives again, or something like that. But I don't know. I haven't thought about what that could be. I've been thinking too much about how I'm just gonna cry myself to sleep every night after this. But no, that was that stuff. So they're finally free. They're finally free. And in the end, I think the ending of the episode confused me and made me jump and scream with emotion. We had a very, very sweet montage. We had a very, very nice kind of sweet montage towards the end of it, of like an actual montage going from archived footage from season 1 to now, like, or showing all these different people, all these different characters, which to me would have made more sense to show at the end of this one, to wrap up Supernatural. But I don't know, maybe they've got something even more, because I mean, we didn't see Carry On last episode. We didn't see the Carry On montage last episode at the beginning, so I think that's what we're gonna presumably get in this one. This is gonna be the Hail Mary of Carry On Wayward Son montage. This is gonna be the ultimate one, wrapping everything up. But that is gonna be this is gonna be a finale for the ages. This is gonna be a finale for the ages, and I've got a lot of thoughts. I've got a lot of thoughts about this show, about this finale, about everything, and I'm gonna save that for another video. This is just gonna be my reaction and review for this finale. I'm not gonna be. I don't think I'm gonna be in the state of mind to talk about Supernatural for 5 hours in one video. That's gonna be another video coming at some point soon, once I can compile all my thoughts. But yeah, this is going to be painful. I'm not ready for this. I'm very rarely ready for pain, but this is a special kind of pain that the writers have cooked up just for us lovely hunters in the Supernatural fandom. So yeah, yeah, and I think what upsets me even more is, besides from 2 posters, one here and one over there on my other wall, I don't have any merch. It's never. I think I've never been able to find solid places for merch very much, or like I've never really had the time to actually look up and buy an appropriate set of Supernatural merchandise. So I think it kind of kills me inside that I'm having to wait until after the show ends to compile that stuff. But I'm gonna have a shelf chock full of, the shelf up here is gonna be chock full of, Funko Pops and other pops and stuff. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, this is it. This is the end of the road. This is the end of the road. This is the end of a 15-year-long road. It's had its ups and downs. I won't deny that. It's had some bad moments. It's had a lot of good moments. But that's basically just like every other TV show. No TV show out there is perfect. No fandom out there is perfect. But every fandom offers someone a little something that they hold and cherish in their hearts forever, and I think Supernatural is a perfect example of that. It's offered a lot of people a lot of solace, and these are thoughts I really should be saving for that future video, but it's coming out. It's leaking. My emotions are leaking out. I can't help it. I cannot help it. But yeah, no, this is it. So so yeah. Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus! Oh Christ! Oh Christ Almighty! Oh God! How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna get through this? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, on to it. Supernatural, season 15, episode 20, the series finale of this amazing show. Let's go together. You and me, till the end of the line, till the end of the road together. All of us. Let's go. And it also goes without saying, full length will be over on Patreon. You guys just need your own copy of the episode, and you can sync it up, and you can cry along with me. But yeah, that is it. So let's go. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. That was that that was. Can I say cathartic? Cathartic usually indicates some kind of release, but I don't know if I can use cathartic for this one. This released nothing but tears. This released nothing but tears, and as you guys saw from the reaction, I am an ugly crier. I am an ugly crier. There's just tears and snot and just, very, very contorted facial expressions and everything. I'm an ugly crier, but that was a finale. That was the end of the story, and I think it definitely. I'd say it definitely felt more like an end to Sam and Dean's story as opposed to an ending to the story of Supernatural. It feels like the Supernatural story might go on, but Sam and Dean's story is what drove Supernatural, and so their story is what completes Supernatural. So Supernatural isn't ended; it's completed. But or at least this is this is the stop that they take. But Sam and Dean's story, this is it. This is their end game. This is their final destination. They die, and they go to heaven. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, because after the last episode, I definitely had high hopes for them just being able to live a life. I definitely had high hopes for them to be able to just live a life free from hunting, live a normal life, fall in love, get fat, get married, have kids, have one big Winchester family, and that is honestly what I could have thought on. I think after this we'll just have to rely on all the amazing fan fiction writers out there to come up with that ending. But with this one, it feels like hunting is what brought them into our lives in the first place, and now hunting is what takes them out of it. I don't know, because I didn't expect for this hunt to go so wrong. I did not expect for this hunt to go so wrong. I think, yeah, one final case was fitting. One final case definitely seemed fitting. Dean found one final case, and he brought that together and everything. So one final case again, it seems fitting, but at the same time, it's like it should have been a case they survived. It should have been a hunt that they survived. They've done this time and time and time and time again. And don't get me wrong, the farewells and the endings were beautifully done. They were super duper emotional and everything. But it just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, it makes sense that they would go out. They would go out swinging. They would go out dying. What was it? Butch and Sundance, or what was it? Something. Yeah, something like the what do they call it? The Blaze of Glory. Blaze of Glory. We didn't really have a Blaze of Glory here. Just Dean getting impaled by a screw in the wall, and then dying. I didn't know if he'd die from that. I thought that would just be like an injury. I like it didn't seem truly big. And I thought, oh, maybe that's the trick. Like, it doesn't look big, but then he gets pushed onto it, and it just impales him right through. Or maybe it hits his heart or something, and he has a few minutes to live. But no, he just said apparently it was what was holding him together, and if Sam pulled him off of it, then he would be worse than before. So, oh boy, oh boy, and vampires. That's a very fitting. That's a very fitting enemy too. Very fitting enemy. They just suck the joy out of everything. Oh my god. But yeah, but no. One final case. So yeah. I love the names they use too. I love the names they use. Like Eric. Singer and Kripke. Robert Singer and Eric Kripke. So that was a very very fitting name choice for the final episode. But yeah, I need water. I am dehydrated after that. I'm severely dehydrated. But yeah, no, this was, yeah, no, it was, yeah, I think one final case, it kind of confused, because I thought, like, Jack would have created a paradise world. He is God now. He would have created a world without monsters for them to live in. He should have done that. I think, after having known them for as long as he did, he would have known that, hunting was, it's what they were good at, sure, but it's never what they truly wanted to do. Like, they wanted to help people. That is part of what it was, but they can help people without hunting things. If you take out the hunting, then you spare them from a life of pain, and they can still help people in other ways. But no, like, I think monsters were still there. Like, we had like a Donna name drop at the very end, and apparently 3 bodies were found somewhere, in Austin, Texas. That's where Jared and Jensen are from. So, very fitting that should be there. So yeah, but then monsters were still around, I think, which I'll get to soon. But yeah, no, Dean's. I think the beginning was very fitting for Dean. Dean's destiny being at a pie fest. Dean's destiny being at a pie fest was very very fitting. That was a very very fitting ending for the both for him. Him just getting like a box of 6 slices of pie, and just munching on that, and even Sam just taking the pie and shoving it in his face. Like, that is, if you watch the convention videos, the supernatural convention videos, you will find that not only have they done that to each other behind the set or on set behind the scenes, but they do it to their castmates too. Because Jared and Jensen are the two that pull pranks on their castmates. Misha most notoriously, but on their other crew, on their other castmates, they play pranks, they mess around. Like, it's how they make their kind of job fun, because they film and shoot for severely long hours, so they have to find a way to actually keep everyone active and positive and stuff like that. So they prank everyone, they prank each other numerous times, and pie in the face is just it's page 1 in the pranking kind of textbook, but it's an oldie but goldie. So seeing Jared do it to to seeing Sam do it to Dean in this one was a very very fitting kind of note for them to start on. But yeah, and I think having it just be Sam and Dean in this one, I was half expecting us to see other characters. I was half expecting that farewell. I was half like, especially after Dean died, I was half expecting Sam to go around to other people to let them know what happened. That Dean's no longer around. This is what happened, and it's just me now. I was half expecting him to go to Jody and to go to I wanted to see if well, the name drop confirms that people did come back, because Donna, because the other guy who called, Agent Bon Jovi said that, Donna Hanscom said you guys were the ones to call if something weird like this ever came up. So Donna has returned. Donna's returned. So that much is clear. So then that has to mean that the others are back. But to actually see them would have been nicer, because literally the last we saw of them was them disappearing. So not seeing them actually coming back, and especially because Dean died, like, the Winchesters were great friends to them. So to have him just be there, like, having him just there at the body burning, I don't know how I feel about that. It's like, I'm conflicted. It's nice, but it also would have been nice to have the others there too, to actually help him get through. But then, like, it would have been great to actually see him having the other people around the bunker one last time, like they did for Mary. They had other hunters around the bunker one last time. So, like, he left the bunker now. He left the bunker, like, staying there was too hard for him. Everything he looked at, he remembered Dean. He went into his room and cried in there with Miracle. So having all the other hunters around for one last drink, one last toast to Dean, would have been better before he actually shut the bunker down for good. That would have been better to see. But yeah, I don't know, like, that kind of stuff, it feels weird that they wouldn't include it, but I don't know. I think maybe the focus, because Sam and Dean have been the core of this show for so long. They wanted to have like the finale being super duper focused on them. But again, it's like, like it would have been nicer to actually see visual confirmation that the others are back and that the others are aware of what's happened. Because we didn't even get that. We didn't even get like Jodie and Donna and Bobby and Charlie and Garth even like. We didn't get any of their old friends actually being around to say goodbye to Dean. Like that goodbye to Dean, I feel like would have actually been like a highlight from this, like all the other hunters around, all the other hunters, all the people, all the friends they've made, all the people they've saved, coming around to actually say goodbye and to actually bid Sam, like give their condolences to Sam and everything. It just, oh, I mean, even thinking about it, it's bringing the tears back round. But again, it's what would have made this finale that much better. So, oh, yeah, just thinking about how a scene like that would have gone down has made me. Yeah, but damn, but that was the longest death he's ever had. I think that is the longest death that I think we've ever seen him had. Like, I don't think I've ever seen someone talk on this show so much during their demise. But Dean, like that whole scene, like it shocked me. That scene shocked me from the moment it first started running. Like, Dean being like, you need to get the boys out there, you need to go get them to safety and everything, and him just kind of overly signifying to Sam that he wouldn't make it, he wasn't coming back out. But yeah, fuck. But yeah, fuck, But yeah, but then the monologuing started, and he started talking about how he wanted to get he wanted to get Sam's attention off of the death and just reminisce about their life together, and even calling way back to season 1, even going even further, because like saying how he first came back when John went missing, and he said like he stood outside Sam's dorm for hours because he wasn't even sure what to say. He didn't even know if Sam would actually let him in, or even just tell him to piss off or something. So so we know from the opening of season 1 he ended up actually breaking in and surprising Sam in his living room. So that was fun. But yeah, but just him using that moment to reminisce about their life and telling Sam he's proud of him, and all the times and the moments they've shared together. It was super duper great. That was, yep, that's what eventually brought on the waterworks. But god damn it, that was, yeah, and then, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna need to go back and watch that scene again, because admittedly, in the midst of my sobbing and, just, seeing a misty screen through a eye full of tears, I didn't catch absolutely everything. So, like, some lines I caught, some lines flew right past me. I was too busy crying my heart out. Okay, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch that scene again. But I think overall, that scene kind of nailed the emotional clarity that was there and the emotional kind of value of it and everything. And yeah, I think again, like that whole thing, like that the idea of that. I mean, I think, yeah, like Sam and Dean dying and going to heaven, being reunited in heaven, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. I mean, knowing what they've been through, knowing how hard they fought their entire lives, you'd want them. What you would want in the end is for them to be together. That is what you would want. You would not want the season to literally cut to black over them not having been together. Like if it had cut before Sam reunited with Dean in heaven, then that would be a major issue, because then that would signify that, oh, the writers are basically telling us that, oh, Sam lived on and Dean was in heaven and then that's the end. But no, they actually went the extra mile. Sam lived a life. He lived his own life. He actually moved on. He didn't do no demon deals. Don't even know if he can anymore, but he didn't do no demon deals. He lived the life. He got married. He had a kid. He named his son. He named his son after Dean. We didn't see the woman he married. I was hoping that they'd actually show that he got married to Eileen, that Eileen returned. She was resurrected by Jack, and she returned. Her and Sam had a kid together. I was hoping like those are the kind of details you want to be in the finale. But I don't know. Again, I don't know if we're gonna have to rely on the fan fiction writers for that, or if that's gonna be like, or if the writers are gonna be like, okay, well, if that's what you think, then by all means, like go with that story, go with that ending. I think maybe they're leaving it kind of somewhat open ended to allow viewers to kind of put their own kind of story ending together. Like, because again, I think because like the writers maybe wanted to tell their ending for Sam and Dean, but then they leave it to the viewers to decide what happens to the other characters, or what they think, what ending they think is best for the other characters and the interaction and stuff. Like, that seems okay to me. But the one thing that I wish would have been in here was actually the other hunters, the other friends of the Winchesters that actually made it back in the aftermath of God's fall, actually would have been around at the bunker. Like that would have been a very, very sweet scene to see. That would have been like the ideal scene to see. Garth, Jodie, Bobby, Charlie, Donna, like everyone they've ever befriended, all the hunters they've ever worked with, giving one final toast to Dean and bidding Sam farewell. So yeah, but Sam lived a life. He lived a life. He had a son. And even I think those scenes were so sweet too. Like, that is exactly the kind of father Sam would be. Like, him helping Dean with his homework, writing his college essays for him, and actually helping him get into college and living that kind of a life. And he even had like his own anti-possession tattoo. So again, I think monsters might still exist in this world. Like, but then I think hunting. I think the hunting might come with free will. So you're not hunting something because God Himself is throwing it at you, but you're hunting it because there's still evil in the world, and because you want to help people, you want to take out the monsters and stuff. So yeah, and because I think so I think the paradise is what Sam and Dean go to when they're done. There will be peace. I think the way they integrated Carry On Wayward Son into this, I think it's even better than the montage we got. The montage we got last episode was really, really sweet. It was really great. But the Carry On Wayward Son with this, I think it was actually specialized for the finale, because they had like a bunch of different remixes. They used like the Supernatural original soundtrack themes that I almost instantly recognized, and they used those really well. Carry On Wayward Son, they had like the original track running along to Dean driving it and everything, and even when he parked at the bridge and that track came in, like, that it was all done really, really well. So I think the montage that we got last time was great, because I think that's what they were leaving. That's what they were at least trying to leave behind: the life of hunting and the life of killing monsters and losing people. Like, that was what they were trying to leave behind. So the montage was playing as they were driving past on the open road and everything. So yeah, but yeah, Dean went to heaven. That is his identity, and Bobby's the one to greet him there. And heaven is the paradise. Heaven is the paradise that Jack and Cass. We didn't get any news on Cass. We didn't get. I mean, Cass helped Jack create it, so I assume that means he's out of the empty, because I don't know if he would be able to do it from within the empty. So, but then again, the darkness is the empty is older than God. So I don't know how much. I don't know if he would be able to do that, or how he would be able to do that without pissing off the empty and breaking that deal. But I don't know. But or maybe it would be a thing like, she made that, or the empty made that deal when the old God was in charge. With this new God, there's new rules. That's what Bobby said. Like, heaven now works differently compared to when the old God was in charge. Like before, it looked all super industrial. There were like different rooms and corridors and hallways and stuff like that. Like, it looked like a freaking call center or something. Well, no, not a call center, but you get what I mean. It looked proper professional, like a bunch of offices and angels in suits and everything. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but what Jack created was a heaven that was actually a paradise, a place that people could look forward to without any sense of bureaucracy or anything like that. Like heaven, that is what heaven should be. It shouldn't just be a place where where angels keep the dead in heaven in check. Like, it shouldn't be a place where angels monitor the dead and they actually keep stuff running that way. But it should be an actual paradise that people can look forward to once they're done. So yeah, so Dean meeting Bobby, that was so great. Seeing Jim Beaver back as the original Bobby that we know and loved, was really, really great. And even the other stuff he named up, like Rufus was back and he was with his own girl down the road, and even John and Mary were a couple miles down the road and he could visit them anytime he wanted. So I wonder I wonder then if Mary's heaven changed, because think when Mary died, her heaven was that she was with John, but she was also with her boys, like her little boys, like young Sam and Dean, like her children. So I wonder if that would be the same here too, or if it would just be, or if it would just be John and Mary. Because then she'd have to deal with a grown-up Dean and her little Dean at the same time. So I don't know what that stuff would be like, but that was beautiful. That was really really beautiful. But yeah, Sam lived the life, and he taught his son to play catch and to get into good schools and live a good life, and he grew old. Sam grew old. Sam lived the life. He grew old. I don't think I'd ever be weirded out by seeing like a present day Jensen with old like grey hair. Like the makeup department must have had a lot of fun with that, because I think at first it was like he had a clean shaven like a shaven face and like just like his same hair but grey. And then as he was on his literal deathbed, and his son came. His son came in to tell him like, yeah, it's okay. You can go now. You can rest now. And he laid his weary head to rest. And yeah, I think seeing him having lived a life without Dean, seeing that he had a family, he had a life of his own, he lived a life, he did whatever he did, but he still kept those memories, he still kept photos. He still kept photos of John and Mary and all of them, like the family photos. He kept the younger ones, like, and I think what amazes me is that someone actually, I read a long time ago that some of the photos they use of Sam and Dean and like other characters is actually photos they take offset. So like there's actually a photo of Sam and Dean like laughing and cheering together and being happy, but it's actually a photo that they took offset, like behind the camera when they weren't rolling the cameras, of Jared and Jensen just talking and laughing with each other. So keeping those photos around and actually keeping the in-story photos around was a really really cool touch, and showing that he was always carrying him around with him. But yeah, but then Sam finally took one. I think he never actually took a ride, but he did. He kept the Impala. He kept Baby with him the whole time. He kept Baby with him the whole time, and took one last kind of sit. He sat in Baby one last time, had his hands on the wheel, just. But yeah, stuff like that was really, really well done. Stuff like that was really, really beautiful to see. But yeah, my god, this was the thing. Despite what it missed, in my opinion, despite the things that it could have had, and despite the ways that it could have been better, it was still, for me personally, it was still a really, really beautiful, super enjoyable, super, super emotional finale. That I will forever remember. And yeah, yeah. And yeah, even on the casting, like they addressed it in the beginning. They addressed Cass and Jack. Like Sam saying, Jack and Cass should have been there. This was their home too. This was their life too. They should have been here to enjoy it with them. But then Dean had his own thoughts, being like, their sacrifice could not be in vain. Like they couldn't let their sacrifice be in vain. Jack didn't really sacrifice himself. He just kind of went his own way, and he said, he'd always be around if they ever needed him. But Cass's sacrifice, he gave his life so that Dean could live. Admittedly, the information you have in that scene, it's not the best motivation for a sacrifice, but still, he still gave his life so that Dean could live. So then Dean's perspective was that the best way for them to deal with that sacrifice was to do exactly what Castiel would have wanted them to do, and to live on. And Dean couldn't even do that. He just had to go and get himself impaled on a screw in the wall by a freaking behemoth of a vampire. So yeah, no, I won't lie. As soon as I saw that screw in the wall, as soon as the camera panned over to that screw sticking out the wall, I was like, okay, someone is definitely gonna get themselves impaled on this. And I was like, okay, I figured Dean should have seen it. I figured Dean should have seen that screw in the wall and used that to kill the guy. So maybe, I mean, the guy was bigger than him, so he very, very easily picked him up. He picked Sam up easily. He picked Sam up very, very easily and pounded him into the ground. But then I figured that, Dean would kind of use that to maybe trip the guy up and then push his head or something into the nail and do that. But no, apparently that screw is what takes Dean Winchester away from us. Apparently that's what takes him away from us. So Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. But yeah, but that. Yeah. I mean, and again, that. I mean, I thought like having him being taken out by a screw seems a little. I don't want to like not on the nose, but it seems a little. So I figured if they're going up against like four vampires, one of whom is a very again, it's a behemoth. He's a behemoth. Um, then it might be a case of they get overpowered because Dean did get overpowered. Did get overpowered by two of them, and then her name was Jenny. Jenny from season one. I like after like when the flashback came up, I like like Dean remembered her right off the bat. But when the flashback came up, I was reminded like, oh yeah, there was a vampire that they hunted right after John came back. When John came back and they were hunting a vampire, and he used the cult to actually get rid of the head of that clan. But then um, a couple was kidnapped by them, and the boyfriend was torn apart, but the girl was actually converted and stored by them. So now she apparently became one of them. She lasted all this time, understandably, she's a vampire. But the fact that they brought her back was actually really, really kind of, I guess, neat. It was a cool throwback. But I feel like maybe there were other people they could have brought back. Like I don't know who else they would bring back. Like a shout out, like a reference or like a callback from season one. Because I think this might not. Because I think Jenny was not that big of a character, so I feel like not many Supernatural fans would have known, especially like again, that's why the flashbacks were there to remind you of who she was and what she did. But I mean, there's no guarantee that every Supernatural fan remembers that episode. So I feel like someone everyone would remember, or maybe it's like a test to see if you're like an actual memorable fan if you remember all the stuff that happened way back when. But I don't know. I do not know. But yeah, so she wasn't the leader. She was not the leader of this clan. She just called dibs. She called dibs on Dean, probably after recognizing him. She called dibs. So that was cool. But yeah, but I mean, I figured that because like I think it was in season 13, I think it was that we actually had Sam being bitten and dying to vampires and being dragged away and stuff. So I feel like maybe that's how it ends here. Maybe one of them gets bitten and the other has to behead him before he turns or something. But no, this is just Dean being held together by a screw in a wooden column, and just asking Sam to stay with him until he goes, and like never to bring him back either. So yeah, this is the first time that like Sam has not tried. I mean, well, second time Sam hasn't tried to bring Dean back. The first time was a big story arc, but this time it's Dean actually specifically asking him, "Don't bring me back. Just go live your life, and then I'll be waiting for you up there once you're done." So just live your life and stuff. So yeah, I think it's probably safe to say that Sam didn't hunt. I mean, because he had a family, so I think he shut down the bunker. So I think that was proof that he didn't hunt. Because I think on the one hand he couldn't stay in the bunker after what had happened because it would bring back too much and he wouldn't be able to think properly. But on the other hand, he would probably just go back to diving in motels. But then that would also like hunting in itself would actually remind him too much of Dean for him to go to continue. So I think he took precautions. He kept baby. He kept all the weapons inside her. He probably, I don't know, maybe he would have warded the house or something. So he did all the necessary precautions. He kept the tattoo. Got his son a tattoo as well. Maybe his wife too. I don't know, but he took the necessary precautions. But he never went out of his way to hunt. He never specifically went out of his way to hunt. He just lived a life and let whatever happened happened. And I think he did so knowing that there were other hunters out there, but at the same time, the last call he got before he left the bunker was about the bodies that showed up in Austin, and that like Donna referred the other guy to him. So maybe that was one last hunt before he gave it up, or I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I can't think of everything in this reaction alone. I can't think of every single point for the review. This is too much for me to take in, but yeah, I don't know. But maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's what happened. But yeah, no. So Jack created a whole new paradise. Jack created a whole new paradise with the help of Cass. So Cass, I think that was a kind of signifier that Cass was out in the empty. Because I think if he was still in the empty, he wouldn't be able to engage. For one thing, he'd be asleep, and but even if he was awake, then he wouldn't be able to engage with people in heaven or in God's realm, wherever that is. In any way at all. So I think Jack actually used his new power to find a way to actually bring Cass out of the empty, and maybe they were up there, even further up above heaven, in God's domain, doing whatever, and then Cass actually helped Cass helped Jack bring about that new paradise that he envisioned Jack creating, like a world free of pain, a world free of any kind of hurt, just a world like the heaven you deserve. It's no longer rooms in a building; it's literally just like an open world for you to explore, all with your loved ones, all around you, living their own life. And even Bobby was at Harbour's Roadhouse, Ellen and Joe's place, Harbour's Roadhouse. So I think it would have been cool to see them if they brought back Ellen and Joe, like to actually share a beer with him too. I think there are a lot of faces they could have brought back, but again, I think the point of this finale was to be Sam and Dean centric, to show an end to their story, but the other characters in the background will still keep the other aspects of Supernatural running. The show has ended on Sam and Dean's story, so yeah, that is that. I think that alone is beautiful. That alone is a very, very beautiful thing. But yeah, that is And then Dean takes one final ride to the bridge over the river, and he senses it. He senses it. Of course, like he only he would be able to sense his own brother coming to him, his own brother finally laying his weary head to rest and reuniting with him in heaven. And they brought back the clothes. Like I don't know about Dean, but Sam was wearing his jacket and hoodie that he used to wear back in season 1. They brought back those clothes. Like as soon as like the jacket seemed familiar-ish, I didn't really clock it too much. But then I saw the hoodie and I was like, wait, Sam used to actually wear a hoodie back in like season 1, season 2, back in those times. So yeah, the fact that they brought that back was really, really cool. And them just reunited. On that bridge, just the two of them, finally in heaven, finally at peace after 15 years of hunting, all these different monsters, all these different creatures from mythology, and all these different threats, protecting the world from all these different things. They finally get to go to rest. They finally get to die in peace and live in the afterlife in peace. So yeah, that's beautiful. That is beautiful in and of itself. But yeah, and I also like that really the actual final shot that wasn't a part of the episode, like the story itself, but it was still in the episode. It was actually Jared and Jensen themselves giving off a final thank you to the fans and to everyone who continue to support this show over 15 years and, continue to drive it forward and gave it the support it needed to actually last as long as it did. And also the rest of the cast and crew being there too. The rest of the cast and crew, definitely the people who worked on the episode, but possibly even the ones who actually worked on the show as a whole. Like Jim Beaver was there because he was Bobby in the episode. Maybe, Robert Singer, Eric Kripke might have been there too. But yeah, that kind of final ending was a very, very sweet ending, and even the guy at the end yelling "cut" and the credits actually start rolling and everything. That was beautiful. That is the kind of sign of a finale done as right as they can do it. Yeah, the finale done the way the writers wanted to do it. I think like again, like fans would likely want different things done in this, or maybe want more things than they actually showed, but I think I can definitely kind of sense that this was the finale that the writers themselves wanted to do, and hopefully it was one that Jared and Jensen as themselves were happy with too. Hopefully it was an ending that they were actually happy with and happy to pull off. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, again, it's like I think the community is one of the beautiful things about the show. That like fan fiction writers out there and all sorts of other fans out there will come up with their own endings. They'll come up with their own stories to continue even in the aftermath of Supernatural. So yeah, this was beautiful for me personally. This was beautiful. But yeah, I'm a mess. I am mentally and physically a mess after this finale. So I've got a lot of processing and even more crying. Honestly, let's be honest. I'm gonna cry even more. These cuffs are already just I can feel my tears through them. So that is pretty gross, but. Yeah, no, it's been a long one. It's been a long one, and again, I will have another video coming soon, like looking back on Supernatural and like talking about my full thoughts and feelings and everything like that. If you guys have any thoughts and stuff you want to share on this, absolutely, please do. As always, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you thought and what your feelings are on this finale and the show as a whole, and any memories you have of this. Please leave them down below. Anything you want to say is open. The comments are open, so have at it. But yeah, that was it. That was the series finale. The series finale of Supernatural. That was the series finale of Supernatural. So, as always, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and thank you for being here on this journey. I think I didn't react. I think this particular channel hasn't got all the reactions. I did react. I think when I first started reacting to Supernatural on my original channel, it was from like season 11 and all the way down to like 14. So, that one then went downhill and crashed and burned, which was completely out of my control, due to like copyright stuff and stuff like that. So that one is gone. But with this one, I have season 14 to now, which is still enough. I mean, as long as I have something on here to share, then it's still kind of, that's something to take some positivity from. But it's been the wildest ride, both watching I haven't reacted to every Supernatural episode, but just know that I have watched each and every single one, and I think I will definitely watch this too. I'll definitely watch the show again after this too, from season 1 to 15. It will be a long ride. But I'll definitely watch it over and over and over. I'll be on my deathbed like Sam was watching Supernatural. And then once the season 15 finale airs, I'll then lay my weary head to rest. And yeah, but yeah, thank you guys so much for being on this journey. Again, I know a lot of people have a lot of different thoughts about this show and the finale and what to do after this show has ended. So, take care of yourselves out there, take care of each other. That's what this fandom does, that's what the SPN family does. We take care of each other when we're going through hard times. But stay safe out there, even especially in times of COVID as well, stay safe. And yeah, so leave your comments on what you thought of this finale and what you thought of the episode as a whole and everything else. And like I said, the full length, if you guys want to cry along with me in the full length reaction, that will be over on Patreon, so you can go, feel free to check that out over there. And yeah, that is it. So keep calm and carry on.